Welcome to this video recorded demo of MarketingPlatform. I'm Kim Østergaard, the CEO and founder. You start here on the login page and simply enter your login. Your login could be to a single account, but it could also be to like an umbrella account. We call it client admin, where you're capable of administrating multiple accounts. That could be for branches, it could be for different countries, it could be for different departments. So I'll just log in. This is my demo account, so there's not so much activity on the data, but it has a lot of content in it. So I'll try to talk my way through the platform. If we start in the upper left corner, you click the MarketingPlatform logo. It's actually identical to the dashboard function, and it takes you here. You can configure the dashboard and you can go in and say, okay, what content do I like to show here? And you can take things from the statistics and add into the dashboard. Up here on the buttons, there are links to that page you are on, to the UK language wiki, and you have video guides and other types of guides also available for that specific page that you're on. If you go further right, you can search for different people, different profiles in the platform. Here's a link to the front page of the wiki. Here you can open the information about the customer service, and you can access the chat. You can also access the chat down here. We have people that work more than 13 hours a day. And you can also go into the notification center, and the notification center will highlight if there's important information. And if there's really important information, it will be shown with like a pop over in the platform. Is there something you really have to pay attention to? And we use the color coding with blue, orange, and red. And if it's red, you really have to pay attention and possibly also contact our support to get help. You can also upload a profile picture, work with your different data that sits under my account. You can do that in the upper right corner. If we look at the menu to the left, we're already on the dashboard. You can look at lists. List is where the profiles are kept. List is also where the data model or the data field sticks to. So let's try to add a new list. When we add a new list, you see that it's also here you connect with SoMe. You can connect with Facebook to manage Facebook audiences. Let's say you have people that have not made business with you for the last 30 days and you want to target them through a Facebook ad. So that's where you can create an audience that works for Facebook Ad Manager and also Instagram, of course. But you can also get lead ads the other way. Let's say you say to Facebook, hey, here's my very best customers. Please find people similar to that using your algorithms and your knowledge about that specific group of people. Then you can set up an ad, and that ad can then be and lead ads, and the lead ads would go directly into your list here at MarketingPlatform. The same goes for Google. For Twitter, you can do auto publishing. When you send an email campaign, we can publish it to Twitter. We can actually do that to Facebook as well. And for LinkedIn, they just changed the API recently, so we're just waiting for the final approval on the new API. You can do lead gen, that is lead ads in Facebook terms, and you can do contact targeting, that's like social audiences in Facebook and Google. We also integrate with Trustpilot if you use that, so you can use our platform to find the people that you want to send out these "would you like to recommend us" messages. And when you have a function like that, you can go in and look at customers that you feel would be most likely to give you a good recommendation. And the recommendation sent out is fully checksum hashed with Trustpilot and seen as a trusted notification and a trusted recommendation when they go up on the website. Let's just expand the menu again here and go on profiles and just view profiles. Profiles are the people that you can send to. And you can see here's the email address. I don't have a mobile number in these. If I had, it would be shown here. You can say when it's added, you can say that if they are confirmed or not, if they have actually opted in for the permission, and you can see when they did confirm and which list they are part of. You can also see the lead score. And lead score is something that we collect if you set it up based on the behavior in campaigns and also based on behavior on your website. Everything you see in MarketingPlatform can be used for segmentation. That could be behavior in campaigns. It doesn't matter which output channel it is, if it's email, SMS, app. We're also adding Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp right now. So every information, every behavior that we can collect can be used for segmentation. The same goes with any data. And it doesn't matter if it's flat data or if it's transactional data. That could be order information, it could be other types of transactional information, it could be inventory information, it could be warehouse information, it could be information from banking systems and so on. All data that goes into MarketingPlatform can be used for segments. I'll show you that in a moment. And also the lead score. We can go in here on that specific profile and we can click the edit button. And when you come in here, you can see the email address, you can see a mobile number, you can see if the different states of permissions are confirmed. You can see a mail rating. That's an engagement score that we're building based on the activities in email. And you can see the fields that are attached to that specific person. And you can also see the event log further down. What have they opened? What have we sent here? It's only email that we have sent. But all of this is shown on that specific profile here below. And you can work with the data model. When you look at that specific profile up here, you can see that there are a first name, a last name, date created, date modified, and a rehatcher field, which is basically just a name and it looks like a text field. And all of that can be changed in here. You can build the data model of your dreams. You can build the data model that you want to build. And it doesn't matter if the data field is a simple field, or it could also be a transactional data field and a complex data store. Let me try to show you that from a list point of view. We have a list here that is integrated with WooCommerce. It could be integrated with anything. And then we can go in and view that specific person that you saw just before. So now you see the data. You can see that it's not editable right now because we're in the view mode. And when we're in the view mode, we get a lot more data down here because we can also see all of the tracked events. So we can see what has actually happened on that specific profile on your website. And you can see right now the lead score is declining. There's only 1 day before the reset. So most of the data has actually been deleted here. That's the beauty of demo data. But if it has been shown, you could see what pages has they visited, what has the activity been, have they downloaded something if you want to record an event of that, have they searched for something specifically, and all of that information can be used for segmentation purposes. We can also go further down and look at more complex data stores. Imagine this here being your data with the structure and the fields that you want to have. And then you can, on a per profile view, you can look at the data. Of course, you can look at the data from like a global view and look down and say, how many people have an order with me? How many people have a customer relation with me? When is it created? Let me segment everyone that goes from 1st of January to 31 of January and see, okay, how many customers do I have that has been created here or changed or whatever you want to see. But you can also look at it on a per customer view. And right now we are here on the order level, but we could also drill further down and say, what is actually the items that sits below the orders? And you can see the various orders right here. They just have a 0 ID, but of course they would have the ID of your order, and you can see that the data is changing. You can see what quantity has been purchased at what price, what are the different data here. And that can be anything. You can see now we change to a complete different view. So it doesn't matter if it's data from a web shop, from an ERP system, from a banking system, from a BI system or whatever. We can take the data in, and you can have multiple of these one-to-many data sets that can sit on the same list and therefore also on the same profiles. And all of these data can be used to segment, it can be used in flows, it can be used inside campaigns to make sure that you get the right message to the right people at the right time. When you go into email campaigns, let us just view a campaign and take a campaign for an existing customer and edit that one. And sorry for the language on this one. I guess the campaign here is actually in Danish. When you load the campaign, you load the drag and drop editor that we have created. And it's a very extensive drag and drop editor. You can do anything you want to do literally in it. You can go in here and say, okay, let me look at the headers. Let me change the header. We have used the built-in translation service and translated it actually to Serbian. So let's insert the Serbian header. It goes here, so you can see there's a translated header into Serbian. You can do the same with the footers and change to any footer that you want to change to, and you can have a huge library of footers sitting in here. You could also, if you want to share it on social medias, you can do a special social media text and a special social media image. It's also possible to update data on profiles just with a single click in a campaign. Here you can edit if you choose the wrong recipients in the beginning. It's so that we ask you to choose the recipients that you want to send to. That could be a list or a segment, because there's so many functions in here that will take data and be able to target based on the data that you have on your list. So if we're not asking you to select the right recipients, you could be possibly create a campaign that will not work in reality. So if you have to re-change the audience that you're sending to, then you need to go and edit the recipients, and we will actually do a check if you are hitting functions that and fields that are not on the new list on the new segments that you choose. Then you can see a preview. If you're a customer at Litmus, you can actually get real live previews. Just add the information in, click it, and you'll be able to make a live test using Litmus. Here you can undo the changes that you have done in the campaign, and you can you can, of course, let's say you go down here and you click it and you make some changes to the fonts, you make changes to different areas, then it's possible for you to make these changes and revert these changes. You can also send previews of the campaign. You can send previews based on being any person on the list, any segment on the list, and of course you can save the campaign as a campaign, or you could also choose to save it as a template and move along. Over here, you have different pre-builds. You can take a pre-build simply and drag it in here. And when you drag in a pre-build, you can see that you get a completely new block containing a grid and some elements. Because it's my test system, the global settings are just set as default. So let me just change it to white. Of course, the global settings will match your templates when you are working with the platform. So over here, you can say, okay, let me change to a completely different font. You have tons of fonts available. If you have your own corporate font, it is possible to get that imported, and then you can we can make fallback fonts also, so it will look beautiful even if they do not have your font installed. Everything you do in here, from buttons to text to everything, can be saved as new elements. So let me see that. Let me make not so rounded corners and button wider, and I'll just write button text 200 pixels, and I can go up here and say, okay, let me save that button. And now the button with all of the settings are in my library. So I can go up, find it here, go down to my buttons, scroll down in the button. Here it is. and I can take it and I can reinsert it wherever I want to reinsert it. And the same goes for all elements, and the same actually goes for entire grids. So it's possible for me here to go into a grid and say, okay, let me save this grid as a module with the grid information here. It's a two split grid, uh, with the text, with the buttons, with the headline, with the paragraph text and everything. And then I can reuse it and just drag it in to my template. So everything from a button to a full campaign can be used and reused as building blocks in new campaigns. It's also possible to say, let me again use the segmentation to say, okay, this block here should be sent to people depending on the data that we have on them. So this here could be the default block. Let me just clone it. So I get a new block, and we can say, yeah, we have two segments on this list. We can say 20 days not paid is a segment. I don't know what the segment contains of, but let's select it. So everyone that has this 20 days not paid will get this version of the campaign with this block here in the beginning, and everyone that we do not have that information on will get the default. And the default could also be configured to not be shown. So we would only show targeted content to the various people meeting the data criteria that we already built. And you can do tons of these. Now I'm not cloning it, I'm just adding blank blocks. So you can see that it doesn't have to be the same. It can be completely different content that you are adding in. That was just very short, the email builder. You can also create SMS campaigns inside MarketingPlatform. They will use the same segments, the same data, the same lists. We go in here and let's put the sender name as my SMS. And of course, we check if it's valid. If you choose to send it as a flash message, then it's the message that will disappear and just primarily be shown on the front page of the phone or as a pop-up. And we can also choose to remove special characters to avoid you getting charged for messages that will go from 160 to 70 characters. And inside here, there's an SMS builder, so we can say, dear, take a first name field, drag it in. Here's a nice message, etc., etc., etc. And of course, you can use two-way unsubscription. You can use links to unsubscribe. You can alter all of this, and it's the messages that you put in here will be able to work in the flows as well. So it doesn't. Let me just save this. So I have a message here. Save and close. So it's possible for you to work with flows. It's possible for you to work with SMS in flows, email in flows, apps in flows, and all of it. Let me just create a flow here. Go into the flow builder. Let me take this list here where I actually created the campaign in, and I can go in and create a flow. So this could be your customer journey, saying, okay, I have a profile. Let me say that this person here comes from the API because you made an API integration into MarketingPlatform. Then we can choose to put some filtering on. So let's put a segment and say we want to use people with an amount spent from 20 to 40K. So these are the only people that we want to target this flow for. Let's go in and say we will send them an email campaign like this. So we choose a campaign. It could be this one. We can choose who's sending it, which email address should it reply. And if there's used dynamic content and feed information in the campaign, let me say that you, for instance, have a lot of key account managers or salespeople, advisors in your organization. You can create a feed with these, like a product feed. And then the campaign can actually be sent coming from that specific person. And when they reply, it goes back to that specific person. And we can even take pictures, text, and automatically insert into the campaign from the feed. So you can do a high level of personalization. If you use Google Analytics, you can also go in and twist the different information and get information over, so you're able to, in your Google Analytics, to see what's which person is actually which person. But don't tell Google. So when you have done this, your campaign has been sent. Let's put in a wait timer here. Say, okay, then we would like to wait 2 days. We apply that wait. And then we would like to do a segment split. Maybe we would be splitting on who actually opened or who didn't open. So let's just do that. I'll not set up the segments right now. And let me configure this one first. So we select it and say people who did not open, we will send them an SMS campaign instead. So we go in here, we select the SMS campaign. I've not created an SMS campaign for this list, so I can't select it. But an important thing is you can specify which hours of day the SMS campaign should be sent, because it's really important that you're not sending SMS campaigns in the middle of the night unless it's something user triggered. So you can do this and apply it. Let's say that because they then got an SMS, we would like to update a data field on that specific person, so we can choose to update that. I'll not go into the details. It'll be a very long demo if we do. And then afterwards, let's give them some more lead score. We will increase them with 40 because they have come so far in the flow and maybe they reacted as we wanted them to react. Let's say the people down here in this segment, they reacted on my email, so I'll just send them another email. And here after this, I would like to merge the flows again. So I merge the flows and continue. You can actually everywhere you can do a labeling and say, let's just write success and say the flows has turned in successfully. But now going forward, we would like to filter on the lead score, saying the lead yaws could be greater than 80. So we only want people that has a good recency frequency in my data. And then we would like to take these and put them into a VIP customer flow, for instance. So we will add them to another flow. Let's put them here, and we just apply that. And then this flow has actually ended. But as you can see, there's tons of building blocks, and you can say, did they receive this? Did they open this? Did they click in this? How is the data sitting here? Is the data changed? Has the date changed? Etc., etc., etc. And all of this can be part of the flow, and the flow is, of course, full omnichannel as well. You can do versioning of it, you can do segmentation, you can do statistics on it, and you can do tons of things in the flow builder as well. Let me show you one thing in the segment creation. Yeah, we'll just exit this one. So you can go in here and say, I would like to build a segment on many, many things. You can build it on confirmation status, on have they clicked in things, have they not clicked, and you can do it on all of the data that I showed you before. Let's go into this W orders here. It's of course WooCommerce orders, and we can open the data model that you saw before. And pay attention to the small labels so you can see what types of fields are they. Let me take this orders date. That could be any date field from your own system. It doesn't have to be the structure as said earlier. So you select a date field, so you can say it should be more than, or it should be between a specific thing. But let's in this here say it should be more than 40 days since this here occurred. So I'd like only to target these people. You can also go in and put more data in. It could be the same. It could also be another deep data structure here. Let's say that the currency, or they should have paid something, or a status should be something here. So this here should be the status here should be yes. I don't know what this inside these demo data, but that could be a segment, and that segment can be used for sending ad hoc, scheduling sending, filtering in flows, segmenting in flows, and also showing the right content at the right spot inside a campaign. So we made segments go across the entire system. Let me just briefly walk you through some of the other stuff. I'll not show you the statistics, but the statistics, you can go in details, see things, you can compare things, you can export, you can also get it through APIs, so you don't have to do it manually. There's tons of possibilities in statistics. The same goes with forms. We're also working on a new SMS survey builder that will go into a full-blown form builder and an adaptive landing page builder. You can do split test. You can split on basically anything, different campaigns, subject if it's email campaigns, and you can also do split on SMS, primarily on time for SMSs. You can do a lot of integrations. We can connect to APIs. We can connect to a lot of standard systems. You can get multiple API keys for testing purposes, for live purposes. So you can use our APIs to connect to. We can read your sitemap. We can read your feeds. It could be product feeds, key account managers, office location feeds, store location feeds, whatever. And all of that can be used for labeling email campaigns. It can also be used for merging content into campaigns. And if you want, let's say somebody unsubscribes, you want that information straight up in another system, you can address a webhook and connect it, and you will get it instantly within seconds after that is happening. And you can also get other data triggered information and set up a webhook for that, and it can go straight into your system. You can set up tracking that can be added to your own site, to your own app. If it's able to run a serverless tracking script, it's actually like Google Analytics, and we can collect what goes on your site, and we actually combine that with the profile information. So when you have the profile information, it is possible to say, okay, it's actually that person that visited my site, that went through the site, that made all of these actions. And you can see the action inside MarketingPlatform, and you can make segments based on that action, and you can make flows trigger based on that action that sits in there. We also have some built-in intelligence and some AI that can put the right products into your campaign based on a lot of information, previously purchases years back, browsing information, in-campaign behavior, and all of that is then put into the algorithms, and it throws out the right information in your campaigns and on your website. This was a very short walkthrough of MarketingPlatform. Please contact us if you want a personalized demo. Thanks a lot. I'm Kim.